And yes, YouTube and Twitch. I decided to do my AM stream from here this morning. I was on Twitch just a moment ago with the telephone. I was doing an edit to some things. And I'm 1 of 2 so far. Whenever I'm not live. Now I'm 2 of 2. I am at both, I am both on, I'm both on Twitch and YouTube right now. And I will post to the Rumble later. Give me just a second. I'm going to name my videos from earlier today so I'll know them or I don't lose them in the folder. Sometimes I forget to name them. Then they're just a bunch of dates. So let's see, it was 13:30. Make sure I keep the MP4. I always delete those videos. Try to anyway. Be ready in just a bit. Okay, what I was doing, I was naming my files. That was a green screen shining on my face. I tried to filter it out of the picture, but it wouldn't filter. Anyways, let me go over here. Let me get my stand, my phone. Then we'll get ready to do some gaming tonight. I haven't decided what I want to do. Let's say I'll monitor YouTube tonight because I monitored shining on my face. I monitored Twitch last night. I can only monitor one at a time. I'm on both. We are now 8/13/2024 Tuesday. 1:03 a.m. I'll be ready to start in just a bit. I heard the Xbox. I heard it through the grapevine. Know so much, Mom, that can you be mine? Honey, honey, heard it through the grapevine. I'm not going to bring up that particular subject I've been talking about for the past 2 days because there was really no reason. Her being a grown adult, there's no reason for him to be brought involved in that. He's a grown adult. She was a grown adult. It didn't disrupt his show any, so there's no reason for him to be involved. And I'm a grown man, and nobody can tell me how I talk. I didn't cuss her or anything. I just told her. And if y'all heard that video that I played, I don't play it again. If you heard that video I played, she said a lot worse than me or my sister both. By the way, my eyes is diabetes related. Has nothing to do with jacking off too much. It's diabetes related. That big fat thing would deserve a dose of diabetes. She's got it coming though. She's a walking disability. If she don't hit the gym, if she don't lose some weight, she's either gonna have a heart attack or stroke. They're gonna be. My daddy used to say this to me. She says she's so big right now, they'll be lifting her with a fucking crane in a few years. You want me to get meaner? I can get meaner. They'll be lifting her with a fucking crane. That's what my daddy used to tell me. It's true. There's no reason for him to be involved in that. I can get meaner. I'll have to wait on the music, so. I said I didn't feel like doing anything hectic tonight, so I did some NASCAR. She is a heart attack away from disability herself, making fun of people with disabilities. She said a whole lot crueler to me, so I'm not worried about it. There's no reason for him to be involved. These entertainment companies need to get over them freaking selves. You know, I saw a video being shared around by what paper was that? It's one of those news sites. These fucking entertainers need to get above themselves. Do you realize that if you come to my channel and even if you're heckling me, you're coming to my channel, but you're not paying for my channel, you see. So if I did something, that would be totally different. But now, if you're a paying customer, if you're heckling me and you're a paying customer, I'm just going to let you go ahead and heckle them. I'm going to let you pay me. I don't give a fuck. Because you're there to make money. You're not there to be their friend. You're not there to be friends with everybody. You're there to make some money. That doesn't disrupt his show any. These entertainment companies need to get over their fucking selves. I wish I could find that clip. That lady talking to the guy in the audience, she had him booted out. He's a fucking paying customer. Just think, if you keep throwing your, we added up 30. He's losing $37 over cheap seats, over two fat fucking cheap seats now. Plus, some nights I have diabetes. Sometimes I get low sugar. Every now and then, I don't do it every show. I have to get the candy bar somewhere like around 9 or 10 o'clock because I get weak sugar. You know, that is something diabetics have, especially the medicines I take. Just think that's gone now. Because something that didn't disrupt his show, something that had nothing to do with him. He should have told her, "Woman, you're a grown woman. You handle your own business." That's what I would have done. I mean, we were top paying. We paid the main seats. We don't get given those tickets, by the way. I guess a lot of them schmucks thought because my sister dated the son, the announcer, that we were getting them free. No, we pay, and we paid the main show. The only one I don't do is the big one where you buy the chair and all that stuff at their Wrestle Jam or whatever. That's the only ticket, the only high ticket that I don't do. And I was going to do the table one time. I was going to actually do the table. I had it in the cart, and I decided not to. I'm kind of glad I didn't. Because just think that table was $100-something. By the way, I was going to jump my sister one time. She wanted to buy it, and he wanted to charge her three chairs, and then keep the fourth chair. That's how crooked he did my sister. But I was just going to order them online that time, back when it was online, you could order them. Because we only needed 3 of the chairs. That's the kind of shit he pulled. But anyways, he had no business getting involved in that. That didn't involve him. And he just lost, I mean, just think, $36 a month. And if he does 2 shows, how much is that? Over 2 fucking fat cheap seats. They're too cheap to. Actually, she's too fucking fat to fit in them. That's really her problem. And she said a whole lot. Well, I know I did it on his property. So what? I didn't break the law. I didn't cuss her. Told her to hit the gym fatty. And he didn't. You don't copy. No, yes, she's fat. She's obese. She's morbidly obese. Let's see. So you got 36. And you times 2 that. I'm late, so it's late, so I can't do it in my head. That's $72 if he has 2 shows. I told him when I was leaving, he was telling me about. I took the post down today because it's going to be spec and plink thing when you're talking about stuff like that. I don't know which one of us has the plink and which one of us has the spec. One of the two has the plink or spec, and God basically spoke that to me tonight. But now I'm not going to back down. This woman was cruel to us, and she was giving me an old horrible look, and I just happened to respond. I'm working on myself twice a week, 3 or 4 times a week, and if I do them at home, I'm doing them all week. And I got this fat fucking creature looking down on me. And then I made the bad guy. Well, I'm going to be the bad guy in her world, because I don't give a damn. But now there's no reason for him to get involved in it. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't cuss her. I actually told him, I said, I didn't cuss her. He started telling me what I can and couldn't say. I said, well, actually, I'm a grown man, and I can say what I want. He didn't like that. You know, that's what's wrong with these fucking people. We got these people in this world that try to tell us what we can say and what we can't say. No, we can say whatever we want to, as long as it ain't criminal. You got that? Whether it's politically incorrect, whether it's politically correct. If you want to be politically correct as all hell, you got that right to do that. But if I want to be politically incorrect, I've got the right to do that. And people were mean to me when I was big. And they had the right to do it. Now, I had the right to respond back, and I usually did. I found the ugliest thing on their body that I could throw off on. Something I thought would hurt, and I would do that. I get ugly for ugly. And some people, you want to be go around being nice to all the people, yeah, that's fine. But now you ain't looking at him here. You ain't looking, and I'm never going to be. I'm a child of the 80s. And the 80s wasn't politically correct. It was mean as all fuck. I remember how it was. And according to what I was listening to about the shooter that shot Trump, I'm not making any excuses here. But now they were saying people was pretty cruel to that little bastard. I mean, I was listening to some of them students. This obviously still is a cruel world. I'd say it's worse today than it was in the past. Because you got this social media where a big fat whale can send me mean messages. It's on BitChute if you want to hear it. apfns at BitChute. It's marked I was throwed out over this. These entertainers, and they need to get their acts together. Because I'm going to tell you where we're going. And the Olympics had the golden Satan falling from the sky, Lucifer. I saw one of my friends sharing that tonight. They're bringing Lucifer into this world, y'all. You're not going to get your old world back. God might spare you a few more years, but you're not getting it back. So Lucifer's coming. Time has come, it is quite clear. Antichrist is almost here. Just like Marilyn Manson sang in 1996. You're not getting your world back. It's not getting any nicer. And I'm just gonna stay mean till it's over. Because you got to stay mean. If you don't, people will walk all over you. I'll forfeit rewards for it. I'll probably cry. It says in the Bible there's plenty that's sitting there shedding tears about all they lost. Because he shows you where you were right. He shows you where you were wrong. And then he gives you the reward based on your right and wrong. And there's things you forfeit. I'm not gonna let schmucks run all over me. My daddy didn't raise me that way. And I don't care what I mean to him. To be honest, I don't care what I mean. I shed no tears for that woman. She went running like a little schoolgirl. I wish I had that on video, by the way. I wish I'd picked up my phone and filmed her running down the bleachers and running through the building like a freaking crazy woman. Like a freaking little child on the playground because somebody told her to hit the gym when she was telling my sister to hit Jenny Craig. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. And he ended up doing a whole 17 minutes here. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous that he even got involved in it. It didn't disrupt his show one iota. Except for her running through the room. Only her was affected. Nobody else was affected. Nobody else even gave a fuck. Yeah, I said it. Nobody gave a fuck. But her. And I don't give a fuck about her. Especially after the things she said about me, my family, and even his family, by the way. Even his own 2 children. That's all I'm going to say. She was cruel. She's cruel. I guess she's been bullied so much. I kind of, in some ways, do feel sorry for her. Because she has become so cruel. I guess they've just all made fun of her about being as big as a freaking whale. That she's just cruel to everybody. Because I never did anything to her when she started talking about me in messages. And then I responded, said, you're one to talk. You're as big as a beached whale. I got that from a woman on AOL. She used to go around telling, Shamu! And I used to get tickled at it. She'd go when they'd come in the room, she'd yell, Shamu! Somebody needs to harpoon them back in the ocean. I wrote a song about it, by the way. The bullying that happened. Shamu! She used to do that, and she used to tickle me. And I even put that line in the end of the song. Go listen to my song. The one about, I see you listening. You'll hear me say at the end of it. Bully needs to be harpooned back into the ocean. I literally got that from that crazy woman on AOL. She typed in a big old fat pink font, that Arial black, and she'd make it hot pink. And you can see that on the screen. Shamu! Somebody needs to harpoon them back in the ocean. I got that whole insult off AOL about the beach whale. I remember those days, and those days were fucking beautiful. when you could say things and got by with it. Oh, back then the worst thing they did was put a strike on your account for so many months. And then it was all over. That's all they did. Those were the beautiful days of the internet when you could say whatever the fuck you wanted to say. Now we got all these freaking little control freaks who want to control everything. I don't want to hear him going on about conservative or liberals banning people, because he pretty much told me I didn't have a right to say what I wanted to say. I mean, it didn't affect him any. It didn't affect him one iota. And if they had a walked out, he lost $20. He's losing 36. We're throwing us out over something silly. I say let him have it. There's other shows and I'm going to tell you, these shows, you get to theirs and usually you're sitting there a few minutes, sometimes you're sitting there 15, 20 minutes, waiting for the next match. You get to these other shows, they put it on, they do a little intermission, and then they get it over with, and then you go home. It's not like that there. These other shows, they put on good shows. I actually told him that when I was actually going back to the band. I said, actually, it's good you're throwing me out. I can go to other shows. He thinks he's hurting me. He ain't hurting me a bit. And if he stops me from using his gym, he's going to lose another. I added that up tonight. I've already paid him $200-something over the past 11 months. I've been going to that for 11 months. I've been going to that gym for 11 months now. Next September is my full year at the gym. I'll just go find me a gym in Dalton. Somebody else will get my money. I'll let him make that decision. He can make that decision if he wants to. I don't care. I'll go if he lets me go. If he don't, well, then I'll go find me another one. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to shed tears. These people need to get over their fucking selves. They become gods in their own little mind. While preaching to you about God, they're on their own little G's. Marilyn Manson had a line in one of his songs. Big little G's with big dicks. Sadistic. Yeah, what is that? That's my monkey? They become these little guides with big dicks. That's what they become. They're their own guides, people. And they think you don't tread on their godly shit. Well, I'm going to tread on all godly ships, except for Jesus Christ. And I'm not going to just bow down just because some man preaches the Bible to me, because I don't know where to twist them. People have twisted that Bible for centuries. And you know, there was a time they didn't even let you read it. When they started challenging them popes, you couldn't even read it for yourself. You had to let them interpret it for you. You had to let them read it for you. I read it for myself. If I'm wrong, I will pay for my wrong. If I'm wrong, I will pay for my wrong. But I read it for myself and I pay attention to no man. Because all man wants to do is control you. From cradle to grave. They want to find some way to rule over you. Well, nobody rules over me. I don't have a boss. I don't work for anybody. I don't even work for the government. My father earned that money that I live off of. It was not a handout. And I don't owe them anything. And I'm not going to owe them nothing. I don't owe them a damn thing. I don't owe the government a damn thing. They're not my guide. They didn't make me. My mother, my father, and God brought me into this world. Not the government. Not anybody else. And I don't owe anybody a damn thing. And I ain't never going to start owing them anything. I don't care what you call your name. They're their own little G's with big dicks. I'm just going to go straight into it. I am at the racing. I don't want to qualify. I just go straight in it because I can't win this one. This is one of them I have trouble. What do you think I was going to do? Cry and bow down to him because oh, please don't throw me out. Please. I bet they did that. I bet them two fat nothings. Because they sure did. And I'm going to tell you, if I told you, it would be hearsay with me. So I can't tell you. And it was off her page. I read it. But his son, his wrestling son, Mostly did her worse than he did me, ever did anything to me. Because he mostly just does it to my sister. He hardly, up until I said something about him, he didn't hardly say much about me. And I looked at it as warranted, so I just smile at him. I don't get mad. Because I warranted it. I earned that. I earned that. I earned him saying something about me. Oh, I'm sure he said stuff on the back. He never did it to me in the face. And I don't really hate him. I liked him I liked his character as a wrestler. But now he supposedly did worse to her than he ever did anything to me. And she's up there kissing their butt and going to their business. That's what these people are. And yeah, I told him I was thinking about not coming because of him, which is probably what he's really pissed off about. I mean, really, that's probably what's really pissed him off. Because I told him, but then I got to thinking about all those wrestlers that I love there. Why should I forfeit all those other wrestlers I like because it's one spoiled little brat that I call Golden Boy? This one spoiled little brat that I call Golden Boy. And what inspired that title was nothing really to do with it, but when you think about it, it fits. The shoe fits. But it was really about him. He was up for 2 belts. And I don't remember if it was before or after he won it, but he was up for it, and that's where the Golden Boy comment come from. That was wrestling. He wants going about gimmick inspired. That was gimmick inspired. Although the shoe does fit, he does act like a Golden Boy. He's a spoilt brat. He acts it. He literally acts like a fucking spoilt brat. I'm going to be honest. He acts like a fucking spoilt brat. I don't care if it makes them mad or not. Let it make them mad. They already banned me. So I'm just going to be honest. He acts like a fucking spoilt brat. He acts like a boy that never had the belt taken to him. My daddy, he popped it at me. He didn't ever hit me with it, but he popped it at me. I finally figured out he wasn't going to do it. And I laughed at him. I said, "You're not going to hit me with that." I said something vulgar. I don't remember what I said. He said, "Boy, you say..." He went, "Pop, pop. Boy, you hear you say that anymore? You're going to get my belt." And I went, "Ha, ha, ha. You ain't going to hit me with that. I've been hearing that for 13 years. He acts like a boy that was never disciplined. What he acts like. He acts like a spoiled brat. I'm just being honest here. I don't care where they clip and paste and send it to him. I don't give a fuck anymore. And if he throws me out of the gym, like I say, that'll be what I added up, 25 a month. Whatever it is for the family plan. That'll just be another money he's losing over silly shit. Over silly bullshit is what it is. Silly bullshit. Silly bullshit, y'all. I mean, that was child's play stuff. And that's what she acted like, too. She's running like a fucking little girl. Going to the teacher. Going to the principal. Oh, I'm laughing still. I might have lost, but I didn't lose. I had my part just alone. If I added that up, what is that a year? For the shows that I'll miss. And I didn't make every one of them. It wasn't deliberate. I'd be sick. I'd have high blood pressure or something else. I have all kinds of health issues. I didn't make every show. But I tried to make the ones that I wanted to make too. And I did. And that was a stupid argument too. That it started out of stuff, and I'm trying not to be too personal. But it started out of something silly too, and I just happened to say something. And even my sister and his brother got on to me for getting involved. And I thought, yeah, I shouldn't have got involved. I love them wrestlers, and I got the invite, so I went. I decided I loved all those wrestlers, and I did. They're good wrestlers. They really are good wrestlers. Some of them you see other places. Some of them you don't. Some of them you don't see at those other places. But I guess I can see the ones that I can see somewhere else. And the ones that I don't get to see anymore, I just won't get to see them anymore. But I mean, it's childish bullshit. I mean, it really is. Just think about it. $37. Because that's me, my mother, and my sister. Tickets. He's not going to have any more. Over this childish whale who can't grow up. And then I was told to grow up. No, I just don't let people run over me because my daddy didn't teach me to do that. Some people might have had parents who said, don't be mean to, and my daddy wasn't like that. Oh, no, my mama was. Oh, now she's still getting on. You shouldn't have called her fat. You shouldn't have called her fat. I said, why shouldn't it? It's true. And she said a lot worse about me. My mama's always tried to pussyfy me. I just don't let her. I love my mama, but she's not going to make me a woman. I'm a man. And I'm going to stand up for myself. No matter how much mama gets, I love mama as long as she's here, and I'll miss her when she's gone. But now I'm not going to not become I'm not going to become a sissy. I'm going to stand up for myself. My daddy taught me to stand up for myself. She told me, well, he was a mean old son of a bitch anyway. That's what she told me. I said, yeah, and I'm a mean old son of a bitch. Why do you want to be like him? He was horrible. That's what she told me. I said, well, at least he didn't let people run all over him. He didn't. Because they did run all over him when he was a kid. When he grew up, nobody ever took him on then. He never had any trouble with anybody after he grew up. I wish I was like my daddy there. You know, people, a lot of times they mock me and stuff. They didn't mock my daddy. When he spoke, they listened. I wish I was like my daddy. I wish I was more like him. The one attitude I got, nobody ain't never going to run over me. He didn't take it from nobody. And he always said, son, I got two people I want to get a hold of before I die. He never got it. He said, I want to get a hold of a CIA man, and I want to get a hold of an Army general and Army man. Because they always walk around thinking they're tough guys. And he says, I want to show them they're not tough. That was what my father used to say. He talked to crooks. He talked to big guys. He talked to small guys. He talked to big bosses. He talked to whoever. Principals. You name it. Anybody who thought they had some kind of authority. And he would bring them down. I mean, they didn't mess with my father. I wish I was like him. People just mock me. People don't take me serious. I guess because I'm too nice. At the end of the day, I'm just too nice. I wish I was more like my father. But now I'm telling you, well, I wouldn't have had to get a hold of her. Because that day she tried to attack my mother, my daddy would have got a hold of her. And he wouldn't have cared what Big Paul said. He wouldn't have cared. Because he took on people like that. He brought a muscular guy down and made him cry one time. Because he knew how to bring you down. He grabbed him a certain way by his arm. Please, let me go, let me go, let me go. He was a big old muscular guy. He was crying in was it a restaurant or something? This is when him and his brother would hang out. When my father learned how to fight, he learned how to fight. And he knew how to talk. He knew how to talk his way out of things, but he was always prepared. And he was also prepared for the worst as well. He was always prepared for that too. He had his ducks in a row. Most of the time, he talked his way out of it. Indeed, he told me, son, I'm glad I never did have to use it, and that's all I can say here. Because we're on a stream. We're not on Rumble. We're not protected. He said, I'm glad I never did have to ever even go any worse. That's what my father said. He wanted me to be tougher. He called me sissy because I wouldn't be as tough as him. But now one thing I'll never do is let people run all over me. I will at least use the pen, the mightier than the sword, the mouth. Even if I'm not willing to go the next step. But now if push came to shove, I'm not going to let you hurt me. I'm just going to say that. You're not going to hurt me. But now I don't believe in fighting. I'm not a fighter. I am a Christian when it comes to that. I don't believe in fighting. But that don't mean I'm just going to take your bullshit and let you hurt me. I'm going to stand my ground, and then when you put your hand on me, it's on like Donkey Kong. And I did stand my ground, by the way. I tried every which way to walk around that big thing. I could not get around her. There's a bench right there in front of the door. Her butt was on one side of the in front of me on one side, her belly on the other, and I couldn't get around her. They told me, get in the building. That was his old son, by the way, we're at the other one we're talking about, the one I told you, spoiled brat. He told me, get in the building. I said, what do you think I'm trying to do? This big thing's blocking me. That was 2 years ago, by the way. Yeah, it has been 2 years. But now it's never stopped. So if it had stopped, it would have been 2 years. Because it's been ongoing, it's never stopped. It's not 2 years. And no, I'm not just going to take it. I don't have to. There's not really anything legally you can do. I mean, you can't do anything legally about people just throwing stuff. The only thing you can do is just throw stuff back at them. When they throw stuff at you, the only thing you can do is throw stuff back at them. I'm not going to let people run all over me. She's not going to win. She did win, though. But she thinks she's won. Because they think they've won, too. But they took the wrong side. And as you always say, when you take the wrong side of history, you lose. And one of these days, they're going to lose for that. When you keep treating your paying customers like that, you're going to lose. And there was 30 other people. What if some of the other 30 people in that parking lot didn't like how he was treating us? What if they don't come back next month or next show? What if those 30 people don't come back because they didn't like what was going on out there in that parking lot? Because I never did get hateful with him. I kindly told him that I'm a grown man. Now, I did finally tell him when I was getting in the car, there's better shows than yours anyway. And they are. You don't go there and you sit and waste your night away. You go there, see the shows, and you get it on, and they go home. And they're usually good matches, too. But some of you other shows out there, if you welcome me, I'm not going to bother your crowd. I wasn't bothering her, really. She's giving me a dirty look, and so I've already had a history with her. I didn't like her. I didn't like how she's looking at me. I gladly will give you my money. Just to show these losers that you don't take losing sides. Those two fat fucks are losers. They're mean and cruel, and they're losers. They're mean to the elderly. They're mean to the disabled. By the way, buddy, you like to bark about bankruptcy. You get some health issues, you'll find out real quick. Then all of a sudden, bankruptcy will be your friend. Just saying, you big, fat, ugly fuck. You don't realize what medical can do to people. You don't realize what medical, there's two things that can destroy you more than anything. Ask Trump, ask Alice Jones. Legal and medical. Those are two ways you can be destroyed. So that big fat fuck, he's throwing off on my mind about that. She paid her right way out of it, by the way. But that comes from my father's medical bills. You realize that? He smoked all of his life, and he took health issues because of it. We're going green. Are you ready? So keep laughing, you fat fuck. It'll come back home to you one day, fat fuck. You said I wouldn't say nothing to your face. I said so. By the way, aren't they instigators? They kept telling me to go do it to their faces. Well, I finally do. She's running like a pig out of a barn or something. Running up there trying to get him so she could tattle on me. Well, I don't give a fuck whether you tattle on me or not, you big fat bitch. Take it down. I'll put it on Rumble. It's recorded. Rumble takes it down. I'll put it on BitChute. BitChute's on a foreign land. Squealing like a pig, running up there, tattling on the tattletale on the teacher. Well, guess what? Teachers don't ruin me. They didn't ruin me when I was at school, and they don't ruin me now. They didn't. I got through in suspension because I wouldn't take the fucking Guns N' Roses shirt off. Indeed, I told Mama to get it ready for me Monday. I was told not to wear it Friday, and I had 3 of them. I said, Mama, get one of my other guns. I want to wear Guns N' Roses from school Monday. And she did it. She got it ready, and I was thrown in suspension because I was told by that fucking social worker not to wear Guns N' Roses to school anymore. You don't tell me what to do. None of you tell me what to do. I'll only bend to Jesus. You got that? The only knee I'm ever taking is to Jesus. And if he don't tell it, it's not happening. And a lot of times he don't tell it. And a lot of times he tells me stuff in hindsight. He says, well, son, if I had tried to told you, you probably wouldn't listen anyway. God knows my heart. God knows my heart. Nobody tells me what to do. And I'm not about to start listening. I'm number 21. If people don't like me for it, people unfollow me for it, this and that, so be it. I don't take knees to people. You don't rule me. I rule myself. With God's help. And he should be king. He's working. I'm working on giving it to him. But I rule myself. And that's the way it stands until the day I'm in the ground. Nobody will ever rule me. First of all, I'm not working for anybody, so there's nobody to rule me. If I had a boss, then that would be a different thing. While I was at his business, I would have to let him be my boss. But now that these events and things, I'm a paying customer. Really, the customer is always right. That's something these businesses have forgotten. Because when you ain't got customers, you go out of business. There was a wrestling show. Eric Bischoff worked for it in the 1990s. They had killed their business one by one till they were broadcasting from a fucking empty building. That's what happens to kings who think they rule things. They fucking lose. You're in entertainment business. That didn't affect your business one iota. I mean, if I disturbed the show, you'd had a bunch of people mad at me and all that. It would have been one thing. Like they did, by the way, when they were thrown out. They upset 9 people because he was flipping off. My sister's got the pictures of him flipping her off, by the way. Cussing. That old fat gut, ugly thing. Looks like a possum mixed with a pig or something. His head looks like a possum. Big fat ugly thing. Flipping a little girl off with a camera. Cussing at her. Like some big fat fuck. And they upset 9 people. I know, because we was left in there and talked about it. And finally they got themselves thrown out. At least she was being a smart ass. All I said was, well, I'm a grown man. And I am a grown man. And I will make my decisions. And I will decide what I say and what I won't say. And if it's criminal, I won't say it. That was child's play, though. Child's play. Why am I still mad about it? Come on, Lord, help me here. I'm talking to you in real time. Please, Lord, free me of this anger. I guess because I didn't really do anything. The only person I offended was her fat fucking ass, and who cares? She brought it on herself. That's the way I would look at it if I've been in the business. I'd say, well, you got yourself in it, get yourself out of it. The best way to get out of it is just leave me alone. If she just leave me alone, I'd leave her alone. She don't. She's even mocking me on my fucking birthday. If she'd leave me alone, I'd leave her alone. I don't give a fuck about her. Actually, though, I should be flattered. She's actually a fan. I really should just look at her as a fucking fan. Because she's obsessed. She can't leave me the fuck alone. I don't give a fuck about it. I wouldn't even want to see her. I told her that day, by the way, she was in the blocking me. I said, I'm not here to fight with you or see you. I'm here to see this show. I wouldn't even pay to see you. You're an eyesore. I told her that. In the ramp, while she's standing up in front of me 2 years ago. I said, you're a fucking freak and an eyesore. Get out of my face. I wouldn't even pay to see her. Nobody would. You're grotesque. Mean and grotesque, too. Mean, grotesque, obese, morbidly obese, cruel, cruel to the disabled, cruel to the elderly, cruel to the disabled. You know, a lot of people are. I know that. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. People are just cruel to disabled people. They're even cruel to Biden sometimes. People are just cruel-hearted. You're not supposed to, by the way. You want to preach the Bible? You want to preach the Bible? You weren't supposed to be cruel to elderly people? You want to be cruel to your mom and dad? You weren't supposed to be cruel to orphans? You weren't supposed to be cruel to handicaps? So you want to preach a little bit of the Bible here? See, I know my Bible. I just don't let man twist it on me. Because for every forgiven verse you can find in it, there's time you can find that there wasn't some forgiveness. For every verse that you can quote on forgiveness, you can quote another verse that there was no forgiveness. No, no forgiveness. Quote Marilyn Manson. I'm glad he's back. They tried to destroy him. You know what? I have to give it to him, though. He was always the type that was kind of in your face and angry. And he comes back with that song about his struggles. And the only thing he said was they tried to get rid of him. And I censored it for the stream. He hasn't gotten mean once. I'm actually proud of him this time. I am proud beyond proud of him, y'all. Lord, you stay with him. You keep straightening him up for me, Lord. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And I don't want you doing anything bad to him to make it. No, I'm not asking you to make it. I'm just asking you to stay with him. I'm actually proud of him, y'all. I'm so proud of him. For some reason or other, I loved that rock star beyond other rock stars. And I couldn't put my pen, because I didn't even know him when I first stood up for him. I just heard him bad mouthing, and I thought, God, that ain't the way you treat. If you're a Christian, you don't treat a lost person that way. To me, he looks like he's a lost person. You don't treat him like that. And woo boy, did I trigger some devils. Because they showed themselves to me, y'all. That was my first on. I mean, they had him all, even my father. I'm going to tell you, my father, I'm going to go out with this. My father. Boy, I told y'all he liked tough guys. He was disappointed that Marilyn Manson wasn't what they said he was. Because I'm telling y'all, he was always looking for the bad dude. He said he wanted to get a hold of a CIA man or a general or a military guy before he died. This was my father. He had worked 2 shifts that night. He had to be the driver back then. And he worked 2 shifts when we went to see him in 1998, November, I believe. I'll look that up again. It was Atlanta. It was where the Space Alien tour. First rock show I'd ever seen in my life. I thought I was going to hell, by the way, because I listened to Pastor Hagee. I loved Hagee, by the way. I'm not knocking him. He was up there describing the rock concert. It's like a scene out of hell. A scene out of hell. And I got, Lord, I've got tickets to see Marilyn Manson next week, whatever day it was. Is it really as bad as he's saying it is? Lord, you be with me. Please, Lord, be with you. You know, they say he's with you the country, with you. And then, but that's another thing these old lying pastors will tell you. He don't go with you there, son. He won't be with you in the bar. He won't be with you in the this and that. They'll lie about that too. He's with you, y'all. I have seen proof of it. I even had a security guard tell me. We went to this place called Wild Bill's to see Skid Row lights. And he got to having a conversation with me. It was the security guard. He said, I don't know what it is about you and your family, but this place is always a lot calmer when you are here. And I said, well, we do pray before we go. We're Christians. Well, he said, well, God answers your prayers. He says, do you realize they just banned bottles the other night because it got into a bottle brawl here and people was cutting people with bottles and hitting people over the head and this and that? He said, your prayers work. I said, well, we just always pray. But that John Hagee, he stood up there talking about what are the sin of hell rock concerts were. And I get there. And I'm scared to death. I'm standing out. I'm shaking. Where they're winding us down. I'm thinking, Lord, what did I get myself into? You be with me tonight, Lord. You be with me. I kept praying. I get in there. They're beautiful, by the way. These Marilyn Manson fans, don't ever believe the hype that those kids are bad. They're not kids anymore. A lot of them's grown. He's got some kids, though. He's got some younger artists, too. They stand out there, treat them like trash. You know what I used to do to those people, those fuckers? Yeah, God forgive me. If they're Christians, you'll just have to forgive me. You know what I used to do to those fuckers? I was in a wheelchair. I used to roll up to them motherfuckers and look them in the eye. They get the shame. They put their heads down. I guess they actually knew. I guess they knew they was looking at the eyes of God. They stand out there with their crosses and their judgment, judging those. And they used to make me mad. And I say, Lord, one time I heard these little kids, I was blaspheming. I said, Lord, I cried. And my daddy said, hey, baby, lucky he wasn't talking to my kids like that. I'd bust them with my belt. I said, I don't care if they are carrying their crosses. And I said, well, Daddy, I said, the thing is, they're making them blaspheme. And I said, Lord, you put that sin on them. You take it off them kids and put it on them. I don't care if they were Christians. Because they were being arrogant. I mean, they've been arrogant. They've been arrogant with them kids. Them kids are some of the beautifulest people you've ever been around. You know when he sings the beautiful people? His fans are beautiful. They may look scary, some of them. They're beautiful. I've been around them. I've even bonded with a lot of them when they was attacking him for these past few years. But I thought I was going into hell. I prayed, because I'd never been to a rock concert. I've been to country concerts. But never been to a rock concert. Marilyn Manson's first, still proud of it. And I get there. It's just like any other event. Well, they're scary looking. They got makeup on, and someone's got piercings, tattoos. It's just like any other event. Haha. What are you talking about, John Hagee? This ain't hell. That's my reaction. This ain't hell. This is just an event. They're all like that. All the concerts. I've been to many concerts now. I've been to Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Testament, because they opened with them. I believe Exodus opened with them too. Oh, I was so glad to see Testament. They're one of them bands, speed bands that I liked, but I didn't really focus on. They had this song called Electric Crown. It was put on a Coca-Cola thing. And I went and got one of their albums because I liked it. But I liked their Spirits in Black or something CD cover. I didn't ever buy that one, but it was in the Metal Medic. By the way, that's what they look like. That's exactly what they look like, by the way. If you pull the Spirits in Black album or whatever it is, Souls of Black. The Souls of Black. That's almost what these creatures from hell look like. Because they tried to spook me from praying about Marilyn Manson. By the way, Anton LaVey was hanging around him when that happened. So I've attributed that to him because he was trying to get him to be his pastor of his church. But if you see these Souls of Black, they're about 7 feet tall. The ones I seen. I'm gonna pull them up. They're dressed in hoods. Now the honest thing is, the ones I seen, there's a bunch of them around my bed as I was praying. The ones I seen had big long fingers. And you take Freddy Krueger and you like multiply them things by 3 or 4. That's how long that fingers was. They come out of smoke and fire and ripples. And they walk through the walls. And I found out later Anton LaVey was hanging around Marilyn Manson when I did that prayer. I'm going to tell y'all. They try, and I said, when they went back in the walls, I told them it's Jesus. I said, "Woo, you take that!" Yeah, sort of like the Will Smith scene. The Will Smith scene. You know, the Will Smith scene where he does the alien, he kicks the alien. I said, "You take that." They had to do it in the name of Jesus, just like I said. Woo, he's with me. Woo, he's with me. That's the way I did. And I said, Jesus. They didn't want me praying that. I'm going to keep praying for Marilyn Manson. Satan literally tried to spook me out of not praying for him. I said that to myself right then and there. And for years and years, I just keep praying for him. I'm proud of him more than ever now that he's cleaned up and stuff. I mean, he may not, I don't know where he is spiritually, but at least earthly he's getting some blessings. And they tried to destroy him and they didn't destroy him. So my prayers were answered on one aspect. I don't know where he stands soulfully. But I said, well, if he really is lost, that ain't the way you deal with him, Lord. You would pray for him. So, Lord, if he really is getting into Satan, I didn't know who he was back then. I just got his CDs in the mail. Seen one video, Tourniquet, and Sweet Dreams, of course, a year later, 96, a few months later, however long it was, between 96 and the Tourniquet. Yeah, whatever months those are between that. I seen him at Sweet Dreams. I love Tourniquet. That's something about, by the way, that new song has some of those same elements that Tourniquet did with the guitar, that twang to it. I love that. That's what I loved about Tourniquet. I ordered the CDs from Columbia. I said, just got them. I know who he was. Now, I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. You know what I said? I need Marilyn Manson. When I seen Marilyn Manson, I was expecting Marilyn to be a woman. Because some guy was even telling me about him all through 94 that I was writing. You got to see. You like hard music. You got to know Marilyn Manson. He kept telling me. I kept thinking, I'll look for her. I'll look for her. Because I was thinking it's her. And one day I got through watching Phil Arms. He was a pastor I used to listen to every Sunday. I flip over to MTV. And I happen to have the TV muted. And I look up and I see the name. That's Marilyn Manson. That's that guy this is the girl that guy keeps telling me about. All right. And I get the looking. Hey, that ain't no girl. And I get up the music. Don, 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 and I mute him. And he's singing. I said, that ain't no girl. That's a guy. Because I was expecting Marilyn to be a girl. He kept telling me about I need to listen to Marilyn Manson. And I was thinking, I'll look for her. Well, I was looking for her all right. I seen her on my TV that day. And she wasn't a girl. But I liked it. I mean, it was dark. It was something new. And he's original, by the way. There's no other Marilyn Manson. He's original. But that right there is a good image of those things. But I've seen all kinds of bands. I only didn't get to see AC/DC. I didn't get to see Aerosmith. I didn't get to see Tom Petty. The people I like. These are people I like that I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see Prince. And I almost could have seen Prince. I had the 3 tickets in my cart. It was just high dollar, and I decided not to put it on the credit. That was one of those times I kicked my butt. Because I had them. It was ticking down. I had the number written in. I was going to hit send. And I said, this is too high. I'm not going to buy them. Well, that turned out to be his last show. Never seen Michael Jackson. Never seen Kurt Cobain. I got to see Foo Fighters. That's the closest I got to Nirvana. And he did have Pat Smear with him back when I seen him, both of the times I seen him. So I kind of did sort of see Nirvana without Novoselic and Kurt. because I saw Pat Smear, and I counted Pat Smear. Some people didn't, I did. I liked Pat Smear. I never got to see Pat Smear. I never got to see Kurt Cobain. I saw Axl Rose. I even got to see him in the front row at the Tabernacle in the handicap section. Now, I didn't pay for those seats. You see that's where their handicap section is. So if you're handicapped, that's what you get. Now, if normally you would have to pay higher dollar to get to see Axl that close. And I couldn't believe it. I even got one little bad picture of him. I shared it not too long ago. I was going through my pictures of him. I got one bad picture of him. I'm not the best photographer. And me seeing Axl up close. I will say Marilyn Manson became my favorite rock star even over Kurt Cobain and Axl. And I don't know why, he just is. I mean, his albums, he's original. He never has a bad album. Even a song you don't really like or you don't want nothing to do with, I end up kind of liking. Even like I said, if it's too dark in the lyrics, I might want to stay away from that one. But I still like it. He never puts out a bad album. I'm not thinking he's going to put out one again. Indeed, I think this one will probably be better than ever because they pushed him more than ever. Because it wasn't just the right and the conservatives and the Christians who tried to ban him. It was the liberals. The liberals tried to ban him. You want to know why he's got the whole world against him? Because he's smart, he's intelligent, and they know it. And they hate him because of that. He's smarter than all them pastors who like to throw off on him. Some of them are dumb as bricks. And they're control freaks. I would rather break bread with Marilyn Manson than them. They're control freaks. They want to control you. They're using God to control you. And that's what I don't like more than anything. That's what I don't like. But them things right there are similar to what they look like. The ones I seen, my ceiling was 8 feet. They were nearly up to the ceiling. So they were about 7 feet tall. And their fingers was long. And they had some things hanging down their heads. I don't know what the crap was hanging down their heads. I don't know if it was snakes. I don't know if it was hair. Because I had my glasses off and I couldn't see the full details. But I'm going to tell you, I take my glasses off now. I can describe what I'm seeing on that little teeny tiny picture. I'm seeing the heart. I'm seeing the black figures. It's just they're kind of fuzzy, but I can see them. And my eyes was a little better back then than they are now. I can see that heart. I just can't see the full details. It's not in full focus. And I'm talking about looking at just that little image. Just that little image. Just imagine a 7-foot thing. I'm looking at that little image there, and I can describe the little image to you from afar here. My eyes are a little better back then. They're worse now. Indeed, I had a full-blown diabetic attack on them. I'm lucky I can even see, much less them stay straight. I had nerve damage to my eyes. And both doctors, both times, told me, you do realize, son, your prayers must have worked. You usually don't get it back. That's the third or fourth time I've heard my prayers work, by the way. Mama's is better than mine, because I tend to go dirty. But I found that song. I played it on today's stream. I'm gonna make some clips about that because I said some stuff that I'm gonna cut the end part off because I don't want to go that route. I want to put it back up minus the end. I just don't want to go that route. I don't want to play dirty. I'm not gonna play dirty. Although I was telling the truth. There's no reason for me to give any reviews. Because other than the wrestlers, they usually put on a good show. And of course, I did say that. I just didn't like how I was treated. I mean, that didn't really affect the show any. I went full blown on that tonight. It didn't really affect the show any. The only person affected is that big fat creature that's been mean to me anyway. I guess in this society, we're supposed to feel sorry for bullies. Worry about the bullies feeling. I guess we're supposed to. That's what's wrong. That's why we got school shootings and stuff, y'all. Because they feel sorry for bullies. I'm going to tell you, bullies should be untolerated. Bullies should be untolerated. We should not tolerate bullies. Indeed, there should probably be legal repercussions for bullies. Now, people don't want to discuss that. But then it might be twisted and they might say you're the bully and then send you to jail. So I don't know if I'd be for that either. Because usually the bully is very, very crafty. Him or her always knows how to twist it in their favor. They're sort of like sociopaths and psychopaths, depending on which one of the spectrum they fit on. And they're good at manipulating. They're good at manipulating people. They got the power of manipulation. So I guess I wouldn't go there. But now, if you catch them, if you really catch them, it should be probably hard to prove. But if you really, really catch them, they probably should be legal repercussions for it. Now, there was legal repercussions for what she did on the route. He didn't like me telling him that, by the way. I already looked it up. They even tried to use it on Dirk Bentley. You can't be mean to disabled people. You can't be mean to elderly. It's the same law that covers the elder count as the disabled. I'm standing there with a freaking cane. Me doing nothing, just standing there looking at her butt. And her blocking me. That was considered disabled abuse. In Georgia, it carries a 20-year sentence and a big fine per incident. Now, just think, she went from my mother, which was 77, to me. You're looking at 40 years there if they'd have thrown the book at her. And I didn't find out about it until about a year later, a long time later. I just let it go. I finally did the research on it. I found out what it was because I started remembering about Dirk Bentley and what he went through. Now, the problem was this old guy, this old dude, he went up to him. They were on boats. One was across from him or something. And this old guy, he does the suck it thing on him. You know, like the wrestling events. Well, Dirk Bentley picks up his finger and he flips him off. Well, the old man goes charges elderly abuse against him, and they was going to give him big time for it. I believe it was Dirk Bentley. Let me look it up. I'm sure there's still an article of that somewhere. Dirk Bentley in trouble. He laughed and mocked at me for saying it. That's what the statute says. You can't be mean. And the elderly abuse is the same as for disabled abuse. It's the same. It's the same law. It covers the same law. In Georgia, for elderly abuse. See if we can find that article. They even got new ones now. Wonder what the new ones are. I didn't find that answer, but can someone do jail time for elderly abuse in Georgia? By the way, the Georgia law for elderly abuse is the same as for disabled. It's the exact same. You go look it up, it's the same law. You can't do disabled people the same way. Yes, it is unlawful in Georgia to willfully inflict physical pain, physical injury, mentally anguish, or unreasonable confident, or deprive an elderly person of essential services. Under Georgia law, family violence is also a crime. Family violence includes crimes between people who are related through blood or marriage. This includes battery, assault, harassment, and unlawful restraint of elderly family members. If found guilty, it faces this says 1 year. The one I read said up to 20 years. They got less for just for well, anyway, maybe they've changed it since then. Because it was a while since I read it. It was about a little bit after. Now it's a year. But even a year, I mean, go to jail over something silly? Attacking people? Back then it was 20 years per offense, from what I could tell. But now the disabled abuse is the same as the elderly, from what I could read back then. And when she was obstructing us from going into a business that she didn't own, by the way, she was committing an abuse. I mean, we couldn't get around her big butt. Because, like I said, her belly, her gut was sticking out on one end and her butt was sticking out on the other. I tried. I tried every which way to get around her. Let's see what these new laws are. They got some new ones. April 29, 2024. Governor Kemp has signed a new law that will help prosecutors crack down on people who harm the elderly and those who can't take care of themselves. The law is called HB 218. The new law sets the surrogate to speak in court on the behalf of a person who has been hurt if they are a person unable to speak for themselves. Georgia has become the first state in the country to allow someone to stand in court on the behalf of a mentally incapacitated adults over the age of 17 and provided victim previously reported to abuse them. This is just another tool so that our prosecutors now have to go after the bad guys who are trying to abuse our state's most vulnerable people, says Rep. Scott Hilton. There was one in Cobb where a school bus driver slapped in the face a child with Down syndrome. I don't have nothing like that, but now I do have uh muscular issues, back issues, a degenerative back spine, a broken spine from an injury at school, and this big abusive whale. By the way, that's how that song was written. I wonder if I can play it. They may censor it. That's where the line come from. That's where I got the besides the beach whale when she was really in front of me. I went in the building and I wrote down bully as big as a whale on my notepad. And then from there I went home and I wrote the lyrics. I wrote the song from there and then I went in their messages and I listened to them and I paraphrased what she was saying, put them in lyric form, turned it back around on her, and then put it in the song and then put some ad lib to it of my own. Like my lines, like stuffing her face down in the restaurant. My sister has seen her stuff in a restaurant, by the way. That's where I got that from. She was even one of the messages she sent me, belching on that. She was stuffing her face while she was doing her messages. She was stuffing her fat face while she was doing her messages. Now, I will tell you one thing. They have figured out that my sister is artistic. I've always had a trouble dealing with people. And even with these streams, me just running my yibba yap, I still don't do too well when I'm in public, when I'm around people. I still feel like I want to withdraw. And I was that way as a kid. I would pick the last row and I go to the back of the class. And sometimes those rows wasn't filled up. Well, one teacher, she had a fit. She made me get up and go sit by the person in the next row. because those 2 rows were empty, and I was on the last row. And those 2 empty rows, and then you had me. You had 2 rows of empty seats, and then you had the rest of the students. I was over there by myself. She made me move over and get to the last row of the last seat that was empty. She didn't let me get to the back seat. She made me sit, because that's what I did at first. It's sort of like you got Tommy. Y'all remember Tommy in Friday the 13th, Part 5? That's the only scene I can relate to, like when he's going to the dinner table or what at the breakfast table. The guy's talking to him, and he don't want to go, but he does it eventually. Tommy in the I've never been diagnosed with it, but I always acted like I was. Indeed, there was a time I didn't even talk on tapes and stuff. And when I did silly voices. Like for my WCW madness, I would do it usually Eric Bischoff. Because I liked his snub attitude. I still like Eric. And my second favorite was Vince Russo after I heard him. I would do Vince Russo, another podcaster I love listening to. That was my way of talking. I would mimic them in my show to talk, and then I would make the wrestlers talk. Like Jericho coming going, man child, man child. I could only talk silly. I could never do anything without doing it silly. Just doing it myself. I started practicing on that in the early 2000s about myself. Because I could never actually record my own voice. I was silly. When I think back on it, it was silly, but it's probably just something that was wrong with me. So, like I said, I don't know whether I was artistic or not. I think they did diagnose my sister. Uh, anyways, let's see if I can find it. I'm gonna go out with the bully song, and yes, CD Baby will strike it, but I'm just going to not. I'm just gonna let it mark it without what is it? Where you Oh, I gotta watch some of these new shows they put up. I hadn't seen them. I seen the first few. I love Marilyn Manson concerts. See if we can find the release. I have to actually find the release. It's on that album too. It's not really that great of a track because I had hell recording it. That's another thing she threw up on about how bad it sounded. There's a reason it sounds kind of bad. I had trouble recording it. It's not my best song. But I went in after she blocked me on that route. I went in and wrote the line "Bully as big as a whale."
The bullet's as big as a whale, and the husband's a fucking ugly one, yeah. The bullet says, put down those 20Ks. Wasn't sitting there, stuffing down a whole damn restaurant. The bullet says, blah, blah, blah. Bullet gonna stomp holes in the trailer floor when she hits his song. The bullet's as big as a whale, yes, as big as a fucking whale. The bullet's as big as a whale, yeah, the bullet's as big as a whale. The bullet's as big as a whale, yes, as big as a fucking whale.
If it had been done today, that'd have been different lyrics. I'm gonna tell y'all.
I know you're listening. I can see you listening. I know you're listening. I can see you listening. I know you're listening. I can see you listening. I know you're listening.
That right there was an ode to that old lady that used to do that to the big people. Going to talk at all. Oh yeah, Paulie, I have a right to talk to her. Yes, I do. I do have a right. This woman's been cruel to me. Yes, I do. I reserved the right, and I took the right. Yes. I'll see y'all later. This woman's been fucking cruel to my family. You can get mad all you want to. I'm not bowing down to nobody. I may like you as a wrestler, and I liked your show, but I'm not bowing and kissing nobody's butt. No one's. But now I will take a knee. The Bible tells me I will take a knee to Jesus one day. He's the only knee I'm taking. He's the only knee I'm taking. And believe me, I get that. I got that even when I didn't really believe in him. Because there's this one time I was sitting when I come home from school, I was drawing, and I had this little basket. And I forgot what was on it. Had some TV show or something on it. I don't remember what was on it. And I was drawing pictures. And one day I just kept widening them and drawing and widening them and drawing and widening them. And I thought, if God's real and I'm a drawing, he could do what he wanted to do to me. And there's nothing I can do about it. Back then, see, I kept saying, show yourself to me. I did that my whole childhood. Show yourself to me, Lord. Show yourself. Storm, be still. All kinds of goofy stuff. I was a kid, so I was a kid. And like I said, I was sitting and drawing. I can't tell you what year it was. I was a kid. I don't know if I was a teen, mid-teen, late preteen, 10 years old, what. I don't remember. But now I do remember there's this one day I was sitting and just drawing pictures. And I kept widening them, throwing them, playing the basketball with the paper wide. And I thought, the thought crossed to my mind, what if God was drawing me? And he decided to crumble me up like I just did all those papers over there. There'd be nothing I could do about it. So even though I did not believe in God per se as a kid, I had the concept of God down accurately. If he decides to do something, there's nothing you can do about it. So I kind of come to a respect of God about that. So when he says, all shall bow, I know I'm bowing. Now, he's the only knee I'm ever going to take. And these little so-called authorities that like to call themselves authorities and force themselves, oh yeah, they could probably put me down. They could probably grab me by my arms, throw me down to my knees, but say, you done it. You see, I didn't. I'm still not going to bow to you. You got that? I still didn't. If you forced me down, I didn't bow. You didn't break my spirit, and you never will.